Today we'll be putting our clay frames together. Last time we rolled these out to 1 tile thick. You have a front and a back. We'll be taking the middle piece out and using that to create the center. So instead of wedging up coils or another piece of clay so you can slip and score these together, we're just going to use the middle. So I'm going to set this aside. And if you look at the sample on the board, we're going to be cutting this similar to like the American flag. So I'm going to have strips going this way, and we're going to save this little square. The little square is going to be the triangle that goes in the back of your frame. And you can decide whether you want this to go horizontally or vertically. For your frame, we're going to cut these apart, and I'm just going to cut thin pieces for this bottom half. It's okay if they rip. And over here I'm going to save one of these, and I'm going to cut two triangles with it, so down the diagonal. When we go to slip and score these, this outside is the part that you're going to attach to the frame. So you can remember that by we need to have a 90-degree angle here. That needs to be on the base. So don't put the wrong piece on or your frame won't function properly. I'm going to lay these over here. And I have the rest of this I can use as well. I'm going to go ahead and cut that up. You probably won't need everything. So if your neighbor needs some extra, you can hand that to them when you get done. But these need to be pretty thin because we don't want them too thick, because this is what we're going to use to put in between the frame and the back. So you will need slip for this, and you'll need a fork. Be sure the slip matches your color of clay. So I used the red clay. I have the red slip. And I need a fork. So we talked about deciding which way this will go. And we're going to use the foam pieces to make sure your frame does not cave in. I think I'm going to do mine horizontally. So you're going to slip and score on 3 sides. So if I go this direction, I will slip and score on these sides. If I'm going the other way, I will slip and score on those 3 sides. So you want to hash that up. That's the scoring. And you're going to do this to both the top and the bottom and your individual pieces. So I would do this. I'm going to add slip through this whole thing. I'm going to do that all the way around. For the demo, I'm not going to do everything. But then I also need to score this, because this and the back piece will be connected. I'm going to go along one side so you can see that, but you need to do all 3 sides. Be sure it's only 3 sides. And then I'm going to do this as well. So I'm going to score this. And I'm also going to put slip on it. So make sure you have a generous amount on there. And I'll put that face down. And if they're too long, you can always cut them off. We can do that later when we get all done, but you need to make sure that's a little bit higher than what you have right here. I'm going to go along there, and I'll cut that off. And I would do the same on all 3 of these sides. For the demo, I'm just going to lay these on there so you can see what we're going to do. Then I need to slip and score this as well. So now I'm going to score this. And you'll do that all the way around all 3 sides. And then on your frame, you need to do the same thing. So if this is going to be my opening, I'm going to slip and score these 3 sides. Okay, for the demo, I'm not going to go ahead and do that. You're going to put your foam core in right up next to the edge, because what that's doing is supporting the lip of your frame so it doesn't cave in. So you need to make sure they're snug, yet they'll still move. So I'm going to bring this in just a tad. And I have this piece right here and here. If they're super tight, you're going to seal it in there and not be able to get it out. So I'm going to flip this over. Remember, try to keep this as level as possible while you're working with it. And you're going to lay it right over top. So everything's slip and scored. You're going to be able to smooth that and make sure the foam core can wiggle, just to make sure you don't get it sealed in. And you're going to go ahead and smooth all this out. And then we'll do the back. So once you have all that together, you can smooth all that out, make it nice. We're going to do the back end. So I have my two triangles. Remember, the right angle, this side needs to go towards your frame, so somewhere in here. And you're going to slip and score that on as well. For the demo, I'm just going to do the one side. So I scored that. I'll add slip to both sides. And I'm going to press that on there. And I would do the same thing to this one. After I do that, you want to lean this back just a little bit, because your frame needs to lean back on the support. If you don't do that, your frame might not function. So make sure you get it there. And then today we're going to put it on your shelf just like this. That's probably all we'll have time for. If you want to get a new paper towel, I probably would. This one's kind of messy. And you're just going to set it right on there. Your plastic bag is going to go over everything. So be very careful when you're carrying these and when they're on your shelf. Squeeze the air out again, and you're going to tuck it underneath. Just like that. And tomorrow you'll be able to add those extra pieces and do the carving as well.